YouTube, what's happening is Wednesday, August 14th. And as you can see, we got a full slate of baseball to talk about today. But first, I want you to like and subscribe because the word for today is transparency. Look, I get it. Yesterday was a rough one. Guess what? It's baseball. It's betting. We're going to have rough days. The sport doesn't matter. You're going to go up. You're going to go down. This is an elevator. We're trying to get to the penthouse, but we got to make a few stops before we get there first. And that's how betting works. Unless you're one of those fake Twitter cappers that have hundreds of thousands of followers and all they do is pump out the same nonsense every day. Oh, if we go 5-0, we're going to give $100 cash out to someone who likes this. And then what do? All the plays are minus 300. And then when they do go 5-0, they cash out a fake account that they made themselves. So it looks like they did it. It's the same scam that's been going on for a decade now. And people are still falling for it. It's hilarious how they do that. The main thing to focus on people that are actually transparent, that actually put out their legit records and everything. You can see mine. Every play is on video for the past 3 months. Every record is there. And you can see my units. That's all I'm saying. It's all out there. Look at who you follow because you're getting scammed by some people just by what they're saying sometimes. So focus on that. Enough of that. I think I woke up and chose violence this morning. Oh, well, that was fun. Let's jump into that first game right now. All right, first up, we got KC in Minnesota. You can see it's pretty much a pick 'em with an 8.5 total. Looking over at the weather, we are in Minnesota. We can see it's going to be pretty nice. Can't complain about the weather. A little windy, but not a big deal. Both teams, KC lost 2, Minnesota won 2, 49% Nerfy based on what they've done this year. KC, 4.7, 260. That's 14th to 15th in the last 3 games. Minnesota is number 1 in both, 8 and 327. The bats got little flames coming off them. They are on fire. And strikeouts, neither team strikes out a bunch. KC obviously doesn't. Looking at the pitches, we got Louis Varland going out there for Minnesota. Dude's pitched 1 game since June. It was the 8-9 game. 8 hits, 3 earned against Cleveland. Now, Cleveland was a bottom 10 offense when he faced them at the time, so take that with a grain of salt. So we should see how he does today against KC. Now, Reagans is going up against the number 1 Minnesota offense, so that should be fun because he's been pretty good overall. This was his worst game, was 8-4 against the Cubs. I mean, this is going to be a fun one to watch. Let's go to props, see if anything stands out. We'll start Reagans first since we're talking about him. Boop, boop, boop. And with him, I mean, Royce is 2 for 2 with a home run. Mr. Lewis, that's pretty good. Margot's 429 average, but 7 at bats. And we got some 0-6 with Castro and Jeffers. Those are the main things. Against lefties, Minnesota does pretty good. We got a couple 300s. We got a bunch of 200s. Now we got a couple hundreds as well, but that's typical. That's what you expect. So his outs are pretty consistent. His strikeouts, 6.5. Hits are 4.5. Oof. And that was Detroit. Outside of yesterday, Detroit's been terrible. Detroit was amazing yesterday. 4.5. I think I like this. I'm taking this right now. Reagans over 4.5 hits allowed. I love me some hits allowed. Let's see. Earned runs, but very up and down. Walks. There you go. Now let's look at Varland because we actually can look at some history with him. Now, he doesn't have much, but Renfro's 2 for 3. And then KC versus righties, they're pretty good. We got some good numbers here for KC righties. The only thing we have are strikeouts. It's 3.5. Now, all of last season, he went over that number a bunch, but how much is he actually going to pitch? He pitched 4.2 last game. Now, the biggest thing is he's going up against KC, and KC don't strike out much. So people will be jumping on this, I think, but I'm not. I'm leaving him alone because KC, they're disciplined. I can't do it. So let's go over to the bats, see if anything stands out. And that's a no. So Kepler, 80%. Melendez, 80%. Yeah, I can't do any of those. Okay, so I got Reagans 4.5 hits allowed. I don't know if I want to take a team. I'm not going to do team total or sides just in case Reagans comes out and pitches a great game but gives up hits or walks and everything. Just in case. So we'll leave totals and runs and all that alone. So we're just going to take Reagans over 4.5 hits allowed and move on to the next game. All right, game 2, Colorado, Arizona. Arizona's a minus 200. 9.5 is your total. We can look at the weather. It's in a dome. Nope, no weather to look at. So there we go. 50% Nerfy based on what they've done. Arizona's a 5-game win streak. Colorado's lost 2. 5.3, 292 Verado in the last 3. That's 10th and 8th. Pretty good. Top 10 numbers. Arizona, 7, 324. That's 2nd in the last 3. So they're right behind Minnesota, right there with them at the top 2 spot. And Colorado striking out a bunch at 10.7. Arizona, not so much. Looking over at the pitchers, Tanner Gordon's going out there. Dude had a pretty good game against Atlanta, had 7 strikeouts. I remember hitting that prop. That was a nice one to hit. He's been pretty good his last 2 games. Before that, he got a little roughed up, but you're a Colorado pitcher. You're expected to. That's what when you sign the contract in Colorado, you're going to get roughed up. So that's what happens. So, and then Jordan Montgomery's going out there for Arizona. Philly got him for 4. Washington got him for 6. He's an elevator too. He up and down. So we could have runs in this one. Let's look a little closer at the props. We'll start with Montgomery since we're talking about him. History, we got a 1 for 2. Not much info at all. Colorado versus lefties. They're better against lefties, looks like. We got a lot of green. 350 for Hilliard. He doesn't play much, so 267. We got 319, 300 for some, but then we got some terrible 100s too. So hits 5.5 against Rado's offense. Top 10. It feels 4.5 maybe, but this, he's very, wow. Strikeouts, no. Earned runs, no. Because he just doesn't strike people out. Yeah, Colorado strikes out a bunch, but he's just not a strikeout dude. Look, if you do this, I don't trust you to get 5. I can't. I shouldn't. I'm not going to. And you can see his walks. Let's look at the batting props, see if anything stands out. We got some Rogers is 90% against Montgomery. Do you have a history? We have very little history for these. Rogers is 1 for 3, but it's not good enough, really. Let's be honest. I'm not feeling that. I'm struggling to find anything I like in this one. I'm not liking it. Let's come back here. Offenses are pretty good. Pitchers showing to get runs. What's the total? 9.5. Ugh. Yesterday was 4 to 3, and they struggled to get to that yesterday. It didn't. You see, the trend lines are going down too. Both are going down. I think for this one, I'm not even taking a side. I don't trust Arizona right now. This is we're just going to call this one. We're going to pass and move on to the next game. All right, we got another one. Pittsburgh and San Diego. San Diego's a slight favorite at home. 8.5 is your total. Let's come over to the weather and take a look. You see San Diego, nice sunny skies. Wind out 8 miles an hour. Pretty nice stuff. Looking at this, Pittsburgh's lost 9 in a row. You might want to start changing that yellow to a white so you can look a little more like Chicago, because you're starting to try to act like them. 9 in a row ain't good. 61% Nerfy based on what they've done this year. 2 and 238 is Pittsburgh in the last 3. That's 26 and 18th in offense. That ain't going to get the job done. San Diego 3.7, 253. That's 21st and 16th. That ain't better. They're about the same. So I see why San Diego's only minus 130. That makes a lot of sense. And obviously they don't strike out much. Pittsburgh, last 3, they've only been 16th in strikeouts. That's actually good for them. They're usually a lot worse. So let's look at the pitchers a little closer. We got Mitch Keller going out there. See what he has done. You gave a 777s over here to Dodgers. Had a great game against Arizona, of all teams. So, and then outside of that, he's been pretty good. Kid not complain outside of most of these games, but this last one was rough. So we see how he bounces back. Now the fun one today, Perez is going out there for San Diego. Perez used to pitch for Pittsburgh literally 3 weeks ago. So now we get to do the whole thing like yesterday with the Oakland Mets game. Will the pitcher be better or worse against his former teammates? I always incline to say the batters are going to be better because they've seen the pitches. They know how he looks, and they see all the stuff. So, and he's been pretty good. Can't complain. I mean, a couple of games got roughed up. So let's look at some props, shall we? Yes, we shall. We'll start with Perez since we're talking about him. Here's the history. We got some green numbers. That's pretty good. McCutcheon's 200. Yeah, not bad. Can't complain. Nothing stands out for like home runs or anything, but okay. Against lefties, some are pretty good. Some are iffy. I mean, some are really good. Like, wow. Bart loves lefties. Wow. 3 home runs, 5 RBIs, 39 bats, 410. Okay. Hits is 4.5. So he's been good recently, but he's facing former team, and that worked out great yesterday. One of the few plays I hit. I'm going to do that again. So we're going to go Perez over 4.5. Yeah. So, and you can see there's a total. It's always on the screen. It will always be on the screen. And you can go to yourself. You can go to Outlier and check it out and see what it is, because it usually gives you a bunch of books. So DraftKings is the only place that has it. If DraftKings has it, Offshore has it. And that's where I do a lot of shopping with them. So you kind of got to do what you got to do. So strikeouts, he's been good recently. Strikeouts, earned runs, walks, and oots. He's gone up in the outs. Okay, let's look at Keller. We'll see what his background is. I want Keller, bang, bang. Here we go. Ooh, we got some red on here for Keller. Okay. Profar's not that good. 0 for 9 for Kim. Even Louis 167. That's 1 for 6 for Louis. That's weird to see. Okay, against righties. They love them righties, though. They got a lot of green. Even the reds are pretty high. Everything's high. Yeah, okay. Strikeouts is 3.5. It's San Diego. San Diego, KC, now Washington, now Cleveland. Those are the 4 I just don't take strikeout props against. They're just too good. Hits, earned runs, walks, oots. Yeah, nothing else is looking good. Come on, bats. Anything good? Let's see. McCutcheon bases. No. Machado, Reynolds, Peralta. Nah, I ain't feeling none of those. Okay, so we got this. I got Perez over 4.5 hits allowed. Again, just like the KC Minnesota game, I'm not going to take a total just in case Perez comes out and plays great. I don't want to put 2 plays or just do the 1. I'm not taking a side because you can see, I don't think there's a big difference in pitchers and there's not a difference in bats. You can see that, so I'm not doing that. No Nerfy, none of that. Just Perez over 4.5 hits allowed. Next game. All right, next up we got Texas and Boston. Boston's a slight to moderate favorite at home. However, we don't know who's pitching for Texas, so I love how they can make odds without knowing who's pitching on both sides. Love when they do that. 9.5 is the total. We're in Boston, so let's take a look at the weather. It should be nice. Maybe some clouds. Slight chance of rain. No wind, not really to worry about. Texas has lost 3, Boston's won 2, 40% Nerfy based on what they've done this year. 5 runs, 226, that's 13th to 21st for Texas. Boston, 5.3, 270, that's 10th and 12th in the last 3 games. So to me, slightest advantage to Boston, but not, I mean slight. I'm talking about like single cheese slice. That's how close it is. So pretty close. And Boston, per the usual, is striking out a bunch against everybody. Everybody's striking them out. So let's pop over here to the one pitcher we know. Mr. Spit on that thing is up here. You can see what he's got going on. Let's see, we got 4.1, 8.6, 5.3, 10.4. He gives up runs. That's what he does. That's, I mean, his last game was a good game against Houston. The game against Texas, the team he's facing today, went 8-6, literally at the beginning of the month. Now he's facing them again. This time it's at home. I mean, will he do this again? Probably not. I expect him probably closer to the 3-ish range. That's what I'm assuming. So, but I'll show what I can here. Let's go to the one prop I can do for him, or the matchups, I mean. Boop, boop. Here you go. Marcus has been terrible against him. A lot of 0 for 6s. I mean, he's been pretty good against Texas. Can't complain. Outside of the last game when he just wasn't that good. So, yeah. Heim has a home run, 3 RBIs. Texas versus righties. Yeah, we got some mid 200s. We don't have any 300s. Texas offense has just been kind of rough all year. Look at some props. Outs, very up and down. 17.5. He's been to 18. He's been technically over a bunch, but really by 1 out. That's too close. Strikeouts. Nope. Hits. Earned runs. Walks. Ooh, he's been walking a bunch recently. Too bad I can't take walks where I'm at. So if you can take walks, that might be a play because there's only 1.5. So that's a good play too. Oh, now I'm jealous. Now I almost wish I could take walks. Ugh. I can't because I can't even bet it. It annoys me. I have to go offshore to find it, and it's even hard to find offshore. So, okay, moving on to the bats. What? Where be the numbers that are green? Because I don't see none. I see, yeah, I got bases, HR. Hell, I got home runs down here. And this just, ugh. Okay, these 2 teams are struggling hard. Okay, that just makes it simple. I'm just not going to take anything in this game because I don't know the pitcher. You see the batter stats, they are just atrocious. The numbers aren't that good. The pitching, well, Tanner is the only one out there we know so far. Probably a bullpen due for Minnesota. Bullpen due for Texas. They might call someone up. We just don't know it yet. Who knows what they're doing? So, smart thing, the smart play, the winning strategy here. Pass. Move on to the next game. All right, next up we got Washington and Baltimore. Baltimore is a pretty moderate favorite at home. 8.5 is your total. Looking at some weather, we see this going to be a pretty nice day with no wind, no complaints. Come to here. Baltimore's lost 2, 55% Nerfy based on what they've done this year. 6 runs, 320 average. That's 6th and 3rd the last 3 for Washington. Advantage Washington in the bats because Baltimore's 3.7, 298. Yeah, the average is about the same, but they just can't score runs or leaving dudes on base. That ain't going to get the job done. So, yeah, advantage Washington. Looking over at the pitchers, we got Mr. I Ain't Got No Pitcher. ESPN still won't hook the man up, even though he's been pitching pretty good his last few games. They still can't give him a nice photo. Like, come on, any photo, take it off, anything, find one. You can see that Kramer, he's not been too good in his last 2 starts. Before that, he was okay, but then he had another bad start against the Cubs. He's very up and down. So I'm taking hers over Kramer. Just saying, I'm taking the way it's been going recently. I'm taking hers. So let's look at props a little more. Let's start with Kramer since it's the first one popped up. History, Garcia's 1 for 6. I mean, there's nothing that really stands out. Washington, some dudes love righties. We got Call at 400, Nunez 385, Garcia 300. Yeah, they do good. Strikeouts, very up and down. I don't like those. Hits, very up and down. Earned runs has potential. We'll come back to this one because we see that. Walks and outs. Even walks has potential if you like walks, because 1.5. I mean, oh, that's the second time I would love to take a walk. Okay. Earned run has potential because you see what he's done. Now he's facing Washington, who is, we just saw, a very good offense. Now, do we take this play, which is him giving up 2.5 for 115, or do I come over here, go to Washington, and take over 3.5 for $125? That means I get to work with the bullpens too. Oh, I think I like this play a little safer. Just obviously the odds are a little safer. It's an extra run, but now I get the whole 9 innings instead of potentially 3 or 4. And even if Kramer pitches a gem today, maybe the bullpen dude comes in and he just sucks. So yeah, I'm going to take that. I'm taking Washington team total over 3.5. That's what we're going to do for that one for sure. Back to the props. And let's pop over here to hers. Matchup. Nothing. Baltimore versus lefties. Ugh, it's a lot of red. That is, get a bandage. That's so much red. Ooh, there's a couple greens. Yeah, Adley and Jimenez. That's okay in Roundcastle. But even Gunner's only 263. Ugh. So hits have gotten better for her. So he's going down trend. And strikeouts is, I mean, ever since this game, he's gone kind of down. I mean, 10 was all right and 8's all right. Earned runs, nah. Walks, he's been pretty good. Let's look at, I don't like any of that. Look at the bats. What have the bats got for us? Call, Wood, Jackson. Last week was the week of Jackson. That's not this week. That was last week. So I don't like any of those. All right. So I'm not going to take a side. The only thing I'm going to take that Washington team total over 3.5 based on the logic I had. I don't like anything else. No total, no side, no nerfy, obviously, none of that. So yeah, just Washington team total over 3.5 next game. All right, next up we got St. Louis and Cincinnati. St. Louis is a slight favorite. It's a pick 'em, let's be honest. 9.5 is your total. Let's look over at the weather. We are going to Cincy. There we go. Pretty good. No rain. Barely any wind. Can't complain. Back to here. Cincy, 3-game winning streak. St. Louis, 3-game losing streak. 57% nerfy based on what they've done this year. 1.7, a $1.94 for St. Louis. That's 28th and 24th in the last 3 games. Cincy's been shutting them down. Cincy, 4.7, 202, 14th to 23rd. They've been kind of getting shut down too. So, I mean, this game, we got some struggles when it comes to the batting averages. Let's look over at the pitchers. We have Gibson going out there for St. Louis, and you can see he hasn't faced Cincy recently. He's been pretty decent. A couple games he gave up 4 runs. Can't complain about those. Cincy is going with a bullpen game. They're sending out Emilio Pagan to be the starter today. He pitched 1 inning, 1 good inning against Milwaukee, and before that he pitched in June. So I mean, it's going full on bullpen. They're going to have him come for an inning. They'll have somebody else come for an inning, and maybe someone go 2 or 3 innings. That's your typical bullpen game. It's annoying. I don't like it, but it gives us the stars an extra day of rest and recuperation, so it makes sense. So I have props for one person, and it's Mr. Gibson. So we'll look at his. We will see. Can I even look at? Oh, I can. Yeah, there we go. I can at least get me some history. He has some history. It's a bunch of nothing. Wow, he is just not giving up a hit to anyone he's faced wearing a Cardinal jersey. That's interesting for a nerfy. That's very interesting. Because you see the batting averages. You see these numbers. Now we see these numbers. They're starting to add up. 1 + 1 = 2. It does. Let's look. And then you see this. I mean, these are decent numbers against righties, but I mean, not him. He is him. Let's look at, now we look at Gibson. See what Gibson got going on. Oh, Ooh, I don't know about this now. France is 625 and 8 at bats. That is literally what, 5 out of 8 home run, 2 RBIs. India's not good. Benson, really, Freddie. I still kind of want to do it. I kind of want to do it. Oh, it's like, oh, and yeah, they kind of struggle against righties overall, unless your name's Ededa Cruz. Yeah. 4.5 strikeouts for Gibson. No, I bet you won the 0, and I said never again shall I bet a Kyle Gibson strikeout in the year of our Lord 2024. Never again, and I will not. Do not care. Anywho, we move on. Nope. Bats. Yeah, they are struggling. They can't. Only one dude at 70% in the last. That's Stevenson HRR. Okay. Yep, we're doing it. We're gonna do it. We're gonna trust. I mean, Nerfies have been cursed, have they not been? I think they have been cursed pretty good. But you know what? Today is the day the curse breaks. No Nerfie shall lose today that I bet. Anyways, so I'm betting one Nerfie so far. It's going to be St. Louis Cincy. You see the numbers. We're going to go with the data and ride the data. So we're taking the Nerfie. I'm not taking anything else in this awful game and moving on to the next game. All right, let's jump in. Cubs, Guardians, Cleveland, slight to moderate favor, 8.5. Looking at the weather, we see it is, there it is. Nice, no rain, barely any wind. Pretty good day, can't complain. There we go. Cleveland's won 4 in a row now. Chicago, or Nerfie, 55% based on what they've done the last 3 games. Can't forget that. 4 runs, 228 for Chicago. That's 20th and 19th. Being bottom 10 is not going to get you many wins. Cleveland, 5.3, 265. That's 10th and 14th. That's middle of the road, but both teams are trending down. That's not good. We don't want to see that. And neither team is striking out much. So pretty good. Looking at the pitchers, we got Italian going out there today for Chicago. He got roughed up by Chicago last time, just the other team. Since he got him pretty good, but outside of that, he's been pretty good. Can't complain. He had 2 rough games. The rest of them been good recently still. And Alex Cobb is going out there for Cleveland. He pitched on the 9th, went 4.2, 9 hits, 4 earned. Not the best game, but it was his first game of the season. Hey, it happens. So there you go. Let's look at some props, see what we got. First things first, we'll start with Cobb because it should be easy. Because do we have any history? We actually have some history. Good deal. Swanson's 1 for 6. 1 for 2, 1 for 3. Okay. And history, I mean, the season, that was history. For the season, Cubs are not the best against righties. I mean, yeah, they prefer lefties for sure. Hits, very. Wait, I just want 2024. This was 2023 as well. I just want 2024. He gave up 9 hits. It's 5.5. No. You're facing the Cubs offense, which isn't doing too good. Only 1 strikeout, 4 earned runs. Yeah, I'm not doing any of that. No shots. I need more data. Let's go to Italian history, see what he's got cooking. Jose's 1 for 10. That's impressive. You can get Jose Ramirez to go 1 for 10. You're a good pitcher. Home run. Now, Thomas, 4 at bats, 2 home runs. That's interesting. I wish it was more than 4 at bats, but still, that's pretty intriguing. I have yet to find anybody who stands out for that. I want to take them on a home run prop. Just haven't seen it yet. Lane Thomas is the first one that I've even thought about. So, righties. Pretty split. Nothing really stands out. 303 for Quan, but that's what Quan does. Outs was consistent. Now it's fallen off a little bit. Strikeouts has been consistent, but 3.5. Come on. I just can't take someone who hasn't hit more than 4 strikeouts in 6 out of 10 games. I just can't do it. Hits. Ooh, it's gone up. Earned runs. Walks. I ain't liking it. Let's come up here. The bats. Oh, there's Jose. We know Jose was terrible against this dude. Swanson, terrible average. Nico didn't stand out. Nothing stood out. So I'm going to be honest. I don't like anything in this game. Nothing is really standing out for me. So I can't pick a side. And none of it looks good. I'm just going to pass completely and move on to the next game. All right, next up, we got Seattle and Detroit. And hold up. I think Detroit just scored again. So we have Seattle as a pretty moderate favorite today. 8 is your total. Let's look at the weather because we are in Detroit, which is going to be down a little bit. There it is. There you go. Pretty good day. No rain, no wind. Can't complain. Looking at this, Detroit has won 2 in a row. Seattle lost 1. Clearly lost that one yesterday. 47% nerfy based on what they've done this year. 5.7, 228 for Seattle. It's 9th and 19th in their last 3 games. Detroit, 7 runs, basically because they scored 15 runs yesterday in their last 3, and 301 because they batted 455 yesterday. And I thought Kirby was good. Kirby just fell apart. So 2nd and 4th in the last 3 because yesterday matters just as much as 3 days ago matters. So yeah, Detroit was on fire yesterday. And strikeouts, Seattle's back to their throne at number 1 when it comes to strikeouts. 30th, 13.3 strikeouts. Just swinging and missing, just breezes galore. So look at the pitchers. We have Woo going out there for Seattle. Woo has been pretty good. Can't complain about Woo. Yeah, pretty good. So nothing really stands out there. He did face Detroit literally in his last start. That does stand out. 6.25 hits, 3 earned. Now Detroit's offense is clicking if it continues from yesterday, which means Woo might have a little bit longer day than usual. And ESPN has Bo starting reliever bullpen game. So yeah, you see what he does. Seattle, he gave up a run in 0.2 innings. So yeah, I hate bullpen games, I swear. I know though, I understand the point and why they're needed. I just hate them. It just makes capping so hard sometimes. So let's go to the props. I have Woo props. That's all I have. Because they're not going to give, no one has props on bullpens usually. So, okay. But I do have history. We can look at some history because we don't know how long he's going to pitch. But if he pitches a little bit, we got some good dudes that can hit him. And against righties, Seattle they're about middle of the road, up and down. So, and for Woo, let's look at Woo's info real quick. Make sure we don't overlook him. He's also got, it's not many at bats. It's basically 1 game. And Detroit versus righties, they're better against righties and lefties, and they batted 400 plus yesterday. So this should be a fun one for Detroit. Strikeouts is 5.5. I mean, no. Hits allowed is 4.5. And the way Detroit's batting, I got to do it. I got to do it. I'm taking Woo over 4.5 hits allowed. I'm doing it. If he can do this consistently and Detroit's offense is still clicking, because it's hard to not be on fire and then drop back to normal the next day. I can't see that happening. That is what you call a breakout game. That means they're going to stay up here a little bit, then they'll trend back down there where they usually are. But that was just a pop. So earn runs. I don't care if he gives up runs. Just give up 5 hits. That's all I care about. So, and outs. Okay. Let's go to the bats. Parker, Meadows, and McKinstry. That's it. And they're both bases. And I don't like that. Both Detroit dudes versus Woo. I mean, possibly. But we'll look real quick. We got time. We got time to show it. Let's show it off. McKinstry is 1 for 2. And who was the other one? It was Parker. Parker Meadows. Where you at, buddy? There you are. 2 for 3. Potential, but not enough data, so I'm not going to do it. So for me, I'm taking Woo over 4.5 hits allowed. And just like the other games, just in case Woo pitches a gem, we're not going to add more. We don't want to put more units than needed. So just Woo, 4.5 hits allowed. I'm not taking a side because Detroit's throwing out bullpen dudes. So I don't know. So we'll just pass on everything else. Woo, 4.5 hits. Next game. All right, next up we got Miami and Philadelphia. Miami won the game yesterday, and some people were Nostradamus and saw that coming. Jerry Davis in the comment section said he took the A's and the Marlins. Both of them got the wins because the Philly and Mets were just terrible. And, since we're shouting people out, let me also shout out Parlay Prince. Cincy dude obviously called it both games in the last 2 days since he won. St. Louis has been terrible. Good calls. So let's jump back into it. We can see that overall, it's going to be Philly heavy again for some reason. Miami got them yesterday. 9 is your total. Looking over at the weather reports, we are in Philly. We're right there. Pretty good weather. So you can see it. Maybe some rain. Maybe. And we can see a little bit of wind. So let's look over at the bats. We have Miami's 1-2. Philly's lost 4 now. Why are people still betting on a team on a 4-game losing streak? I have no idea. 47% nerfy based on what they've done this year. 6.7, 269. That's 4th and 13th for Miami in their last 3. Meanwhile, Philly, 2 and $177. 26 and 28 ain't going to get the job done. That's why you lost 4 in a row. You can see the stats. Miami is striking out a ton still. Don't get me wrong. They are striking out a bunch. Philly is not, but it don't matter. All that matters is the win-loss record, and you can see what's happening. So let's look at the pitchers. Today we have Edward Cabrera going out there from Miami. You can see what he does. Dude pitched 2 absolute back-to-back gems. San Diego and Atlanta, of all teams. 12 innings, 7 total hits, nothing. Dude's been beasting. And before that, 2, 3, 1, 7. I mean, you can't complain. Phillips, on the other hand, he's going out here. He has not pitched gem. He's pitched the opposite of the gem. He has pitched mud, just dirt, crumbles, just garbage balls because they're just getting launched. So before that, he had himself 15 innings of just beautiful games, but then since then he's been kind of rough. So there you go. So it's up and down in baseball, let me tell you. Let's look at some props. All right, so we got Phillips first. History, what we got for Phillips? Anything stands out? Nope. History, lot of green for Miami versus some righties. A lot of green except for a couple, but they don't play much. So yeah, okay. Props, hits, 5.5, strikeouts. Yeah, nothing is really standing out so far. Ugh, yeah, nope. I mean, yeah, he's only pitched a handful of games this year anyway, so it's kind of hard. But still, it's enough to know I don't want to take any of these, that's for sure. Edward, let's look at your background, buddy. What you got for us? A lot of red, a lot of bats, and a lot of red. Schwarber's 1 for 9, 2 for 9. It's just not good. Philly versus righties, a lot of red on top of the fact they're batting so terribly as a team right now isn't good. Cabrera, 5.5 strikeouts, hits allowed, 4.5. I almost want to take the under right now, but earned runs under might be better. Oh, yeah. Yep. What's under? 137? What's hits under? 119? Wait, no, it's not. It's 133. 119 is a prospect line. And outs. Because Philly is batting 28th. They're not striking out, though. So we either want to take hits or earned runs under with this guy because he's been so on fire. The safe play is going to be 105 for hits and earned runs is 2.5. I think I'm going to take his earned runs. You got to hit the ball to be able to score, and they just can't hit him. So we're going to take Cabrera under 2.5 earned runs. Now, if he gets blown up, he gets blown up. It happens. Whatever. We'll donate a unit and move on. But guess what? I'm taking Cabrera under 2.5 earned runs for sure. Props. Bats, I mean. Let's see. Bryce. And then some Mariners. And then, yeah, I don't really like any of that. Oh, last thing. Let me look at his props again real quick. His strikeouts is 4.5. Nah, we'll pass. All right, so I got what I want. For this one, I'm taking Miami in the money line. I'm doing it because Philly should not be favored. I know this is an outlandish plus 160. I don't care. It's going in the parlay. That's how confident I feel about this. Miami has, in my opinion, the better pitcher. They got the better bats. They should be favored, but yet they're super underdogs. Parlay it up. I'm taking them. Money line, Miami parlay. I'm taking money. Cabrera under 2.5 earned runs. Miami moneyline parlay. Next game. All right, next up, Houston, Tampa Bay. Pretty much a pick 'em. Slight lean towards Houston. 8 is your total. It's in Tampa. It's in St. Pete at Tropicana, so there's no weather. It's just humid probably outside. We can see Houston's won 7 in a row. Tampa's lost 2, 6.3, 288. That's 5th and 9th in the last 3 for Houston. Both top 10, pretty good. Tampa, 1.7, $1.63. That's 28th and 30th. Absolute garbage. I mean, just terrible. Even worse than Philadelphia in the last game. Just, that ain't going to get it done. So, big advantage Houston with the bats. Looking over at the pitchers, they got Blanco going out there who, I mean, you see his numbers. He faced Tampa literally a couple weeks ago. 6 hits, 2 earned, 7 Ks. I mean, all these are quality average starts. A couple 4s are a little concerning, but a lot of 2s. So we expect at least 2 earned runs. But Tampa is struggling so bad. Will they even get the 2 earned runs? Because they're struggling worse than they were when they faced them a few weeks ago. So Zach Lytell's going out there. Let's see what he's got going on. 8-3. I mean, at least he has some 0s and 1s up there, but then he has some absolute blowups. I like the Blanco consistency. We know we're going to get out of Blanco. Zach here could be 7. He could be 0. And we just don't know. So let's look at props. Bounce around to the props. We got Zach. We got Blanco. Let's go Blanco first. We got a matchup. Let's look at the history. Not much history. Nothing really stands out. Lyle's got him a home run, but that's 4 at bats. versus righties. Some of these numbers are terrible. 264 is the best number on the screen. That ain't good. That ain't going to do anything for you. Ugh. Okay. Outs 17. Look at his outs. His outs have downtrended hard recently. Strikeouts have been nothing. Hits, earned runs, walks. Nothing looks good for Blanco. Let's look over Zach here. Zachy boy. Boop, boop. His history. Again, not many at-bats, but then some success. But even though it's not many at-bats, I'll really worry about. Versus righties, they're not that good either, but at least they got some high. We got a 310, a 290, 280, 270. We got some decent numbers on here. We can work with that. His strikeouts very up and down. Hits, earned runs, walks, outs. I don't like none of that. Ugh. Bats. We got Bregman, Alvarez, Bregman again, Carlson. I just don't. I mean, this is just not. I mean, I lean Houston just because of the bats and the winning streak, because streaks matter in baseball so much. So what's the spread? It's basically a pick 'em. I see no real difference in pitching. Blanco's consistent. Zach's a little up and down. Bats, big advantage Houston. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take Houston in the money line parlay. And that's all we're going to take in this one. We're not going to take anything else and just move on to the next game. All right, next up, Oakland, New York. Mets are a pretty heavy favorite, 8.5 digit total. Weather, nice day-ish. There's a chance of some rain, just a little bit of a chance. No wind to worry about. So the Mets have now lost 4. Same situation as Philly. They're just not doing good. Again, why are they such a big favorite? Oakland's 1-3, 6, 298. That's 6th and 5th in the last 3 games. Mets 1.7, 194. That's 28th and 24th. I don't see why the Mets are favored. So let's pop over to pitchers. Maybe that'll tell us a better story. Oh, there you go. Estes is going out there. Let's see what he's done recently. Outside last time, I mean, he's been good 5 straight starts. I consider these good games. This Boston game, yeah, that was rough. We get it. But these are all pretty good. Can't complain. Is David Peterson better? Let's take a look. David Peterson. I mean, he has a 4 on there, but his numbers are pretty good too. So, Estes hasn't faced the Mets. He hasn't faced Oakland. I kind of want to put Oakland in the parlay. I think I'm going to. This is going to be if this parlay hits, I might be over 100 units by the time the day's over. So we're putting Oakland moneyline parlay. We're gonna have 2 massive underdogs in here. We're following. Who was that said that? We're gonna do the exact same thing he did, and it was the Jerry Davis. We're gonna follow Jerry Davis's just do it again. Why not? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So. Anyways, okay, we have all that. Let's pop over to props. See what we got. Estes, Peterson, boop, boop. Let's do Peterson first, see if anything stands out. See if we like some props maybe. No history for Peterson, really. 0 for 2 and 0 for 1. Oakland versus lefties. I mean, the numbers aren't bad. I can tell you, some are not good, but there's some good ones on here. So Rooker's the main one I care about. Yeah. Hits have gone down for him. Strikeouts have been earned runs, walks, very up and down, and outs have been very inconsistent. And let's look at Estes and see what he's been up to. What you got popping for me? Nothing. Okay. Hope you're hungry for nothing. So you can see a lot of 200s. I mean, this is the Mets. Remember, the Mets were always better against lefties, but now you're getting some dudes that are better against righties because it's starting to trend, because that stat doesn't work all season. This is what have you done recently, so it changes over time. Oops. I ain't feeling it. I ain't feeling none of those. Let's go to the bats. Ain't got much at all. Oh, we got Rooker, HRR. Outside of that, I think I got enough. I got Oakland moneyline parlay. That's all I need in this one. I got them. We're going to roof them to win the game. I don't care what you got to do. Win the game. So that's all I care about. Next game. All right. Next up, we have Yankees and White Sox. Yankees minus 230. Again, 9.5 is your total. Let's look at the weather because we are in Chicago. We can see everything what we got going on. Not bad. Pretty good weather. Let's back at this. 47% nerfy based on what they've done the last, for the whole season, not the last 2 games, last season. 4.7, 297, that's 14th and 7th for New York in the last 3. 4.7, 278, that's 14th and 11th for Chicago. No difference. I don't see much of a difference. They're literally 19 percentage points apart when it comes to average, and then the same runs. Yankees aren't striking out much. So to me, no advantage either way in the bats. Pitching. Will Warren's going out there. He has pitched a total of 2 games this year, and he's given up a Wendy's fo-fo-fo, and then he went back and got a double fo-fo-fo with 888. You can see what he got. So it's been a little rough. Davis Martin's going out there, and Davis Martin has pitched pretty good. You see where this might be going, right? You see where this might be going. I might just have the fattest money line parlay here. It's crazy. I don't. So, all right. I lean Davis Martin of all things. Okay, let's go to props. Let's see what we got. Yep. No info, obviously. Yeah. Okay, maybe I don't have the fast parlay because that is a lot of green, and these are good numbers. And Judge is up to 340 now, 310 against righties. Yeah, New York is doing pretty good against righties. I don't want to really mess with that. Hits, strikeouts, earned runs, walks, outs. 3.5, 4.5, 4.5. Oh, he's pitching well, but New York's batting well. That kind of cancels each other out. Let's come over here to Will Warren. Will Warren, am I really going to bet for Chicago to get runs? We might be doing it. We'll see. No info, obviously. Chicago, as right versus left, the numbers aren't just that good. 246, I think, is the best number on the screen. It is. Ugh. Hits, strikeouts, 6 twice. Earned runs, walks, outs. Put bats. We have Baldwin and Lopez. Everyone else is terrible. They don't even have HR props for this game because of the pitchers, probably. That's just not fun. That ain't fair. Come on. One of these books got to put a prop out. Like, that's annoying. All right, so they're pretty equal in this. I think Chicago's better in the pitching. I think New York does better when it comes to which side of the plate. They do better against righties, so that kind of cancels it out. I mean, I want to put them in the parlay, but they're just not strong like Miami and Oakland are, so I'm going to lay off them. But do not be surprised if Chicago wins today. I would be surprised if it's not a blow, if it's not just like a close game, the whole game, and one team wins by a run. That's what I think will happen. So outside of that, I'm not putting +1.5 Chicago, even though it's +130. I'm not going to do it. So I'm just going to pass completely on this game and just move on to the next one. All right, next up we got the Dodgers and the Brewers, and it's pretty much a pick 'em, slight lean towards LA. 9 is your total. It's in Milwaukee, dome, so no weather to worry about. Dodgers have won 5, Brewers have lost 3, 50% nerfy based on what they've done this year. 6 runs, 286. It's 6 and 10th for LA in the last 3. Milwaukee 2.3, Bucks 79. That's 24th and 27th for Milwaukee. Last 3, not going to get the job done. Looking over at the pitchers, we got Walker Buehler going out there. He finally shows up. He's been out since June 18th, so you can see what he's done. Last time he was out, it wasn't a good game against Colorado, but hey, it's Coors Field. What can you do? Before that, dude was pretty good. So he's back from the IL. See how he does today. First game back. Welcome back. Montes is going out there. 3rd game since he got acquired from Cincy. So you can see 2-3 and 9-3. I don't care how many hits you give up, but don't give up the runs. So 3 runs, pretty good. Can't complain. Before that, rough, and 10-4, kind of rough. So he's had his best game recently against Atlanta. So let's look at the props. We will start with Buehler first. History, not much to look at with them. Milwaukee versus righties. Technically, they're better against righties, but they've been kind of cold recently. And we just saw the stats. They're not doing too well on the batting average, so that matters. His stats are all from this year, but they're from June, May and June. So how much they really matter? I mean, you be the judge. 4.5 hits, strikeouts, earned runs, walks. I mean, I got to see how he pitches in his first game since June, so I'm going to pass on those. Frankie, on the other hand, let's look at Frankie's stuff. Frankie has a lot of at-bats, and some of them are impressive. Like Mookie has a 556 and 9 at-bats with a home run, 2 RBIs. That's cool and all. But let's go to the bottom of the list. Let me scroll so you can see it. 27 at-bats for Mr. Ohtani. 407, 5 homers, 13 RBIs, and 1.4 OPS. Yeah, dude's on the list. He's on the list of potential home run plays today. And on top of it, we come to look and see if he's even over here in the info here. And we see HRR is 2.5, but he's only 5 out of 10. So I'm not going to mess with that. Now, bases is a little closer. If this was green, I'd probably take it because he's been in it 4 out of 5. But I need this column, the top 10, most 10 recent, to be green. I need some consistency. 5 is just not enough. 10's a nice number. 20, probably too much. I like 10 personally for me, for what I do. So we'll leave that alone. So the rest of the bats we can look at. You got some greens on there, like Tascar's 90%. Mr. Hernandez, Hoskins got some bases. I mean, you got some choices here if you like some of these. To be honest, Dodgers have the bats. I don't know anything about how Buehler's going to do for the pitching. And Montes has not been too good, but then there's a history of him not doing too well against. If anything, I'll probably put Ohtani in a home run play, and that's about it. So officially for the plays, I'm gonna pass on everything. But Ohtani will go in a home run thing later. So that's all I have for this one. Let's move on to the next game. All right, next up, Toronto and the Angels. It's a pick'em, 8.5. This is in LA. We have weather. Let's look at it. There's nothing going on. Nice weather. A little bit of wind blowing out. Can't complain. Nice night. We see Toronto's 1-2. Angel lost 2. 62% Nerfy based on what they've done this year, except for yesterday when the Nerfy did not hit. I mean, Nerfies are cursed, are they not? And yet I have one. So we'll see how that works today. 4.7, 212 for Toronto. That's 14th and 22nd in their last 3. Angels 3 at $1.89. That's 23rd and 26th. Slight advantage Toronto because they're scoring more runs, but other than that, you don't really see an advantage. Let's look over at the pitches. We got Cheerios going out there. We got he hasn't faced the Angels. He's up and down. Sometimes he gives up 5 runs. Sometimes he only gives up 1. He's very up and down. So, and Tyler Anderson's going out there for Angels. Can we just talk about how Tyler Anderson's like just good? Like 2.99 is 8. 1.15 is 26. 109 strikeout. He's just a good pitcher. How he didn't get traded, I don't understand. Like, good stats. Good. 4 is a little high, but other than that, good numbers. So, I would lean Anderson in this one over Cheerios a little bit, slightly. So, so they cancel each other out already. Let's go to the props, see if anything stands out. We'll do Anderson first. Boop, boop. Not many at bats, but not many good ones. Like Varsho's 556. Springer, Springer might not even play. Who knows after what happened last night? You know, Springer, I saw this, lost his mind after like almost getting hit. It was, yeah. So, oops. Yeah. Let's see, against lefties, there's a lot of ones. There's a lot of ones for Toronto against lefties. That ain't good. Oh, that ain't good. Strikeouts 4.5. Have you faced them? Twice last year and went 4-2 in 2 games. I see why the number's low now. And for the whole season, you've only gone, you're not really a strikeout dude. Okay. Good to know. Good to know. We've learned. Hits is a no. Earned runs, walks, very up and down. Nothing is consistent with you. Let's go to Barrios here. Look at his now. Boop, boop. History. Again, nothing's really standing out. Against righties, low numbers again. Bunch of low numbers. I almost want to take the Nerfy again. I almost want to. Oh, but I think I might not. I think I might ban that from today. Might not do it. Yeah, I'm not liking any of this. Let's go over here to the props. We got Neto, Ward, Adel Calhoun. How has Neto done against him history? That looks like something I might do. Boop. Never faced him. Okay, that's fun. All right. Okay, so I don't see much of an advantage in pitching. I don't see much of an advantage in batting. I don't see anything worth prop-wise. So for me, this one, I lean the Nerfy, but I am scared. I am frightened. I have chills when I think about taking a Nerfy in this game back-to-back days. I already got 1 Nerfy. I think I'm limiting myself to 1 Nerfy a day. You know, going on a little diet for it. So we're going to pass on everything. and move on to the next game. All right, last game, Atlanta, San Fran. San Fran's a slight favorite. 7.5 is your total. Weather, yeah, you can see everything. Wind's blowing out at 11. That might be worth something, but the weather should be good. San Francisco's lost 3. Atlanta's won 2. 60% nerfy based on what they've done this year. 4.3, 245 for Atlanta. That's 19th and 17th. San Fran, 2.3, buck 67 is 24th and 29th in the last 3. So slight advantage Atlanta. And this one, offensively, both teams striking out a ton. Looking at the pitchers, I just assume that Grant Holmes is a starter now. I know he's a reliever, but I mean, 4.25, you might as well give him a starting title instead of a reliever because he ain't doing that no more. He's doing this. And I mean, he wasn't good against Colorado. I mean, it's Coors Field. It's Coors Field. If you know Coors Field, you know. So 7-3, 3-1. I mean, yeah, okay. Mid. That's the word I'm going with. Mid. He's a mid reliever. There we go. Robbie Ray's going out there. Robbie Ray, I mean, he respected Coin when it came to strikeouts last 2 times. So dude's been pretty good. Can't complain. Now it was Detroit last time, but let's remember that Detroit has been terrible. So grain of salt. So let's pop over here to the props. Let's see what we got. Maybe we get to another Ray strikeout prop today. That'd be fun. Let's get Ray first. Matchup, history. We got some history out here. Ozuna's 214, Murphy's 200. We got some 100s. Look at these 35% strikeout rate for Ozuna's pretty nice. I mean that's 6. What's that? 6 for 8? I don't know what that is. That's pretty high. So math is not I went to school for business. I didn't go for math. So we use calculators around here. We can see what they've done. Pretty up and down. Perfectly checkered red and green. That's cool. That's a fun thing to see. Hits, strikeouts. Very 7.5. 7.5. Ooh, it is plus juice. What's 6.5? Buck 48. You can get that at FanDuel and DraftKings. Okay. And he's gone over it 3 out of 4 times. The only time was Oakland of all games. How was Atlanta doing strikeout wise? 27. Okay, yep. I'm going to play the safe one. I mean, if you want to go the 7.5, by all means, go for it. You get the plus juice. I'm going to play the safer one. I'm paying some juice on it, I know, but I'm going to take that because profit's profit to me. So we're going to take Ray over 6.5 Ks because of how bad Atlanta's striking out. That's definitely a fact. Earned runs. If he doesn't hit it, Atlanta's just great. But you can see, even though the offense is getting better, the strikeouts are still terrible. Walks, outs, nothing stands out. And let's go to Holmes. We're not going to have much probably, even though he is a starter now. Technically, it's a weird situation. So history, we ain't got none really. Literally 5 total at bats on the screen. San Fran's better against lefties. Everything but one's red, and some of them are 100. So not taking San Fran on the money line, that's for sure. Hits 4.5, strikeouts, earned runs. His strikeouts last game, he hit 8 a couple times. How's San Fran doing strikeouts? They're doing strikeout 10 times a game. Ooh, now that was Colorado. That makes sense. They strike out a bunch. Milwaukee doesn't. They're up and down. And Miami, I don't know. I think I'll leave that alone. Walks and earned runs. Let's look at the bats. See what we got. Carson, Olsen, Soler, Trensky, Murphy. Who was the one that stood out for him? History. It was him. Okay, no. Not the one I was looking for. Okay, so none of the bats look good. I have the one I like. I have Ray over 6.5 strikeouts with paying a little juice, but it's fine. I'd rather take the higher chance to win versus that, so it's fine. So I'm not going to take anything else in this one. Just Ray strikeouts and call it a day. All right, that's it. All 15 games broken down. Pretty interesting day. We got some pitcher props of hits over, a strikeout over. The main thing is that moneyline parlay is going to be heavy underdog in Miami, heavy underdog in Oakland, because we're going with numbers, and Houston as a pick 'em. Those 3 together should be some delicious looking juice by the time I put them in the system. So I can't wait to do that. We pass on a bunch of games. That's fine. That's no problem. We had a rough day yesterday. It's going to be a better day today. You know what? We speak that into existence around here. That's what we do. So on top of that, check out Outlier. Awesome. Link in the description. Get yourself a free trial for a week. It's worth it. If you don't want to watch a full hour-long video, I completely understand. You can sign up for Patreon or become a YouTube member or just join the Discord directly, and you get everything just typed out for you. You can see all the plays I take, and you can come back and watch some stuff later. It's your choice. I don't care. Whatever works for you. I'm trying to give you choices, some options around here. On top of that, there will be news that I will be doing football most likely tomorrow. It'll go up. Tomorrow's Thursday. Yeah, I will have a preseason video. It's not going to be much, but it's going to be the first one. So, hey, we're going to baby steps around here. That's what we're going to do. And then next week, you're going to start seeing college videos going up. We're going to start doing some futures with NFL and college. And before we get to the real games the week at the end of next week for college. So drop a like, subscribe. Appreciate all you watching. And hopefully we all profit. And we'll see you tomorrow. Peace.